welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup Los Angeles qualifier. We just wrapped up Norway versus Switzerland, and with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the entire schedule for today. Now, we started off today, of course, with Team Canada going up against Austria, and Norway going against Switzerland. Canada came away with the first victory, and Norway came away with the second. We got Austria going again against Team USA, the home team, later on today, and then Norway finishing off the day for Overwatch World Cup against Brazil. And oh, friendly reminder, we do have that Contenders Finals match that's gonna happen at the end of the day, so stay tuned. But up next, we got Canada versus Brazil. Last year's silver medalists against this qualifier's dark horse. A lot of people were talking about Brazil, calling them the dark horse, the team to look out for. So we'll see if they can possibly pull out an upset against Team Canada right now. So Blizzard Arena, you guys ready to get this match started? All right, well, without any further ado, let's welcome the first team to the stage. Everybody, give it up for Team Canada. These boys were already victorious earlier today. We got to see agilities on Lucio getting the crazy boots. We'll see if they can replicate that result once again and get another victory, but they're gonna have to do it against the dark horse of this qualifier. Everybody give it up for Team Brazil. Man, never thought I'd see green and yellow for a team other than the Los Angeles Valiant. This is awesome, this is awesome. Well, anyways, guys, you guys ready? You guys look ready, the boys are set. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the match and send things on over to our casters. It's gonna be Monty and Doa.
Thank you, Malik. That's right. It's time to start Canada versus Brazil. This is going to be a fun one, man, because Brazil, they've dominated South America for quite a while. I mean, I'm saying Brazilian gaming house. That's right. That team, not
We're getting there slowly.
That wasn't any sort of political statement. Don't worry about it. We're back. But anyway.
What would Overwatch be without an awkward introduction by Noah? Who knows?
That's right. Just wouldn't be the same. It feels like home now, doesn't it, guys? Anyway, BGH down in Brazil, obviously doing very well in South American contenders and fielding most of the roster for this team. And I think a lot of people are excited to see him start playing.
Yeah, and also most of this roster has been playing together for the past couple of years now since the Overwatch release. And you know, there's been a lot of interesting conversations we've had with the Brazilian players over the past couple of Overwatch World Cups, including, you know, they said they were actually really nervous last year and they felt they underperformed. And they're coming in so strong. You talk about their dominance, but Brazil Gaming House, they dropped one map in the season of South America Contenders the entire time, including the playoffs. So they've got a lot to prove, I think.
I think so too. Let's take a look at the maps for this one, or the roster rather. There's Canada, of course. Agility's Crimson Note, Bonnie, XQC, and Surefour. Now, this roster is pretty stacked, and they really took it to Austria earlier in the day.
Yeah, they did. Styling on them a little bit, obviously, with Agilities on that Lucio. Also coached by Jane, who is now one of the assistant coaches for the Dallas Fuel. So a lot of Overwatch League or former Overwatch League representation on this roster.
Yep, that's right. And then on the other side, of course, is going to be Brazil. Ole Alamo, Liku, Neil, Honorado, and Dudu. Of course, 4 of these guys coming from Brazil Gaming House.
5 of these starters, actually.
5 of them, that's right,
Ole coming from Black Dragons, so there are a couple Black Dragons vet are also on their bench, part of that squad, but 5 of these guys very used to playing with each other and coming in on that hot streak. And they've said to us, you know, how do we get better? When we're dropping one map in an entire season of contenders, they're really looking forward to the opportunity to scrim here in North America. The ping, not really helpful for them when they want to scrim against North American teams who are living on the West Coast. So this is a time for them to really improve and challenge themselves because they've sort of hit the ceiling. Like, how do you get better when you are so dominant like they are?
Yeah, you need people who are better than you to kind of teach you new things. They were saying when we talked to the team earlier in the week that just in their few days at World Cup last year, the players that were here learned so much that they were able to take back and then kind of level up the scene in South America too. So they're kind of seeing this as, yeah, we want to win the World Cup, of course, and do well, but we also want to gain that information and practice that we can then take back and sort of instill into the Overwatch scene there.
Yeah, and also they were saying they had nerves last year, and they feel more comfortable this time around. They've been through this before, many of these players, in the last Overwatch World Cup, so they're looking, I think they have their sights set on, saying if we can take out Norway, if we can get third in this, that they're going to be very happy with that result. Obviously, this is a huge map for them because if they're able to beat Canada here, they have a legitimate shot at making it all the way to BlizzCon.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, I think we would definitely call that an upset if they were able to take Canada. And Canada did look really dominant in their first match, as we kind of expected them to. But this one's going to be maybe the real test here. I was watching the South American Contenders Finals a little bit earlier this week. And while I think Brazil did well, there was a lot of tight maps in that series too. So, while I think BGH anyway, would fielded most of these players, again, did well, it was a tight series.
Yeah, it was definitely a close 4-0, as we might say. But I think you do have to admire that they were able to come back on a lot of deficits in those games as well to close things out. So they are a determined team. They do play well when their backs are against the wall. That's for sure.
Yep, and a lot of 3-3 comps, a lot of triple tank, triple support. And the thing about BGH in that match was that they played it in a very sort of patient style, I thought, is that they weren't kind of rushing in and just trying to be this battering ram. They were waiting for their opportunities. They were doing a good job of, after taking control of a point or an objective, they were kind of holding things really well and even threw some stuff like May once in a while too. So
yeah, they do have some modifications, and I think a player to watch if you like watching DPS, which who the hell doesn't, let's be real. Liko, definitely a very versatile player. They talk a lot about, we saw a lot of his May, for example, like you're saying in the finals, also some Genji play. So this is a guy that I think is going to get a lot of attention here.
That's right. So the players are still getting into the lobby. So Monty, what have you been up to lately?
What have I been up to?
Yeah, what have you been up to lately?
Well, All-Stars, there was this game that I played against you.
I don't seem to recall what you're talking about. It's all kind of fuzzy back then. I don't know. Yeah,
the mind can block out traumatic experiences sometimes. So.
No. I remember just being very, happy as usual. Being happy to be on stage playing and dominating for my team. Doing well on mostly an individual level is what I kind of remember more than anything.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's me, myself, and I, and Zen. Mostly Moira, though. To be fair, I remember that very well, and it was quite painful. Apparently, we've got a bit of a tech issue, too. Yeah. Do you think if you were on stage, you could solve it right now?
No, I don't think so. I'm not a trained IT professional.
You know that I actually have a certification in computer repair and maintenance, even though I apparently can't say the word computer. I can fix them. So don't worry about that. There you go.
When did you get this? How long ago?
Oh, it was only about 8 years ago now or so. Computers
nothing's changed.
Haven't really changed since then. It's still applicable. DOS is really popular these days, isn't it? I don't know.
DOS is very popular with the kids, I hear.
Yeah, so the kids love DOS. That's right. There's Ole from Team Brazil, of course. Yep, and a lot of these guys, again, like you said, the synergy. Ole, kind of the odd man out in the starting roster. He was on Black Dragons, which was also the team in the finals down in South America Contenders. Neil. There he is.
And you see a lot of these guys just looking so relaxed right now. Arato, I've heard that he's never lost a game, in fact.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh, that's nice. Doo-doo as well. So the thing is like, it's hard not to have an enormous amount of fun on that stage, though. That's what I learned more than anything, is that even though I have to admit the Atlantic team did lose to Pacific, I had a ton of fun playing on that stage. So it is just fun being up there, when you lose.
Yeah, you can also see as we take a look at the Canada players, Agilities will be playing the DPS role. Benny is in this time, so. Right.
I want to see more of this guy's Lucio, though.
They're definitely taking this seriously. Crimzo, first time here on the stage at the Blizzard Arena.
Making a good case for himself to jump on an owl team later this year, who knows? Note, of course, that guy had a pretty decent pulse bomb. We thought Semler would get all the good pulse bombs, but no, Note's got a couple of them too. Bonnie, of course, great balance druid, great Overwatch player as well.
Yeah. From playing too much WoW with him.
That's right. We've been raiding a little bit lately, and the one, the only, XQC, a man who needs no introduction.
Yeah, good to see him back.
Yeah, I'm sure for him. A man who is staring into your very soul right now. What does he see? No one knows. Okay. Here are our maps, guys. It's going to be Lijiang Tower to start things off with our control map. In this 4-map series, there is a chance if we do have a tie, we will go to that 5th control tiebreaker map.
And this is a map that Brazil Gaming House played in the finals as well. So
right,
it was really, really close, but there's going to be a lot of information that Team Canada will have gleaned from watching those VODs. A lot of 3-3 compositions.
You know, the meta has changed a bit since those finals were played, though. It's not a hugely different, but it will be different enough that I think you kind of take those with a grain of salt. Obviously, the GOATS comp or the 3 support, 3 tank comp is still pretty popular right now, but we're starting to see more modifications in that. We're starting to see, you know, the Mei thrown in, the Ana thrown in, and here we have two Doomfists already locked in for this team. So we'll see. But Neil, of course, he's a tank, so back on the Reinhardt.
Yeah, back on the Reinhardt, and they are going to switch over to Moira on the side of Brazil.
Yeah.
And Agility's may well stay on this Doomfist. Remember that he was a competent Doomfist player for the Los Angeles Valiant of the Overwatch League, so this is certainly a high priority pick in this meta due to the pick potential, especially when you're playing as triple tanks, triple supports. The ability to immediately remove one of the support players from the equation is very powerful.
That's right, and that's exactly what Agilities is going to be gunning for here with the Doomfist. Waiting to maybe come around the back. No, he's playing it defensively for now as Brazil comes in. Going for the triple tank, triple support. Big charge comes in from Neil right away. Agility's bouncing people up in the air, and he's going to have to play it safe. Don't want to go too deep there. Oh, Dudu takes one to the face, and that's one down already. And it's like you said, eliminate those supports, and the comp kind of starts to fall apart.
Well, you see Canada is falling back because they know all they have to do is wait for the cooldowns on this rocket punch to take out one of the supports. So not really giving a lot of ground. Look at Surefour right here. Classically, a Zarya player as well, has always had that hero to flex to in his pool, nearly at 100 energy right now.
You got to be careful, too. If you're a support on Brazil, you can't really get out in front of the tanks with that Doomfist around, or you run the risk like that. Oh, Earthshatter comes in, didn't get totally blocked. Surefour gets low, but can they get the kill? He's not quite dead yet, gets the heals in the end, but XQC takes out Dudu. There goes Ole, and Brazil, a decent start to that fight. They've got a couple kills now, but it looks like Canada is going to be able to swing this around to their favor. Yeah, that's going to be a fire strike from XQC to take out Honorado, and that should pave the way for Canada to get a bit more control percent.
Yeah, Brazil a little over-eager. They actually had Agilities low and pushed off on one of the flanks, and I think they could have used the Lucio speed to get over there and shut down Agilities before going into the point. Instead, they try and engage a little aggressively, too aggressively with that Earthshatter, and Canada's playing very passively right now. They are just waiting for Brazil to make mistakes and playing around their cooldowns.
Oh, there's a Shatter. Now they got to capitalize. Oh, the counter Shatter comes in from Neil. XQC charging back through again, swinging away. Stunned. Nico does get the kill on him, so Brazil with the 6v5 advantage here. Agility's a little bit of shields from some of his abilities here. That Graviton Surge not doing a whole lot for Brazil, though. I guess they do get one onto Note in the end, and they're slowly starting to grind through Canada. Honorado out of the mech, but Agilities doesn't have a lot of support, and yeah, he's not going to last too much longer. Looks like Brazil should be able to flip this here, and that's exactly what they're going to do. XQC on his own.
Actually gets the pick.
Yeah, he got one on Dudu. All right, not bad.
Not bad at all. But Canada used basically all of their ultimates right there in a losing fight. So
pretty great delay, though.
Yeah, they got up to 90%, which is great. Puts them in one fight territory. Obviously, now they have time to work with Brazil here, try and get those crucial support ultimates out of the way.
You know, normally I wouldn't advocate using ults like that as Canada, but if you can put yourself, like you said, in that one fight scenario, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Canada pushing back in now. We'll see. They're going to have to play more aggressively for the first time in this match.
See, Dudu waiting it out. That Reinhardt shield, though, for Brazil, getting a little bit low here.
So they're just trying to convince them to use ultimates right now, but it's not working.
Benny in a little bit of trouble, gets back just in time. Dudu charging forward now. They can use the Coalescence on Canada's side. Brazil playing it patiently here. That's good, man. Just wait out the Coalescence. Now Brazil drops that sound barrier, though, because they know Canada wants to re-engage right after that. And Brazil weathering this pretty well so far. Canada's got ults, though. I'd be worried. Oh, but there's a grab coming in. Can they finish him off? Self-destruct comes in. Where's his shield? XQC gets it up, but still two come in for Honorado on that Diva. XQC low, and he's down. And Brazil on point to try to hold this Canada, swinging the fight around. And it looks like with what they have left, these three members might be enough to do it. They're gonna flip it. Wow, what a comeback by Canada.
Again, the patience from Canada ends up paying off right there. They force out the coalescence from Brazil, re-engage with the coalescence of their own, and now they're trying to scramble. Honorato's the only one on the point, but the rest of Brazil is coming around the flank.
Yeah, that's right. But the boop coming in. Did he get anybody? Not quite. Ooh, that looked close. Neil, though, gets Bonnie, punishes him. Earthshatter gets absorbed by Neil as well. Charges XQC into the wall, takes him down. Surefour falls as well. Brazil storming back on this one. Note just pops that self-destruct. Agility comes down for the Meteor Fist on Oliko. That Meteor Strike doing work, man. And it's just Note. And Agility's holding it together for Canada in the end. That one is close, though.
Surprisingly close, but it has been about Canada's game plan so far. They are playing a reactive style, and Brazil looks a little bit undisciplined on some of these approaches and their ult use. This is a well-coordinated Canadian team, and Agilities, that's a huge pick right there. If he doesn't kill Liko because the self-destruct from Note wasn't going to get them the elimination, that could have easily swung back in Brazil's favor. But
yeah,
you know, this looks like a lot of what we saw in those South America Contenders finals with Brazil. You know, they're very tenacious on these points, and even though they play a very back and forth style where the point gets flipped quite a bit because they like to play aggressively and just all in repeatedly. It's a little bit dangerous, though, at a high level of Overwatch play to do that because you can end up feeding so much ult charge.
You're finding out now. Here comes around on Gardens, Canada. Getting zoned out a little bit by Brazil early on. Fighting in that small room, man. That could get messy.
Yeah, sure, if we're going to be switching over to the Sombra this time, it's still going to be a 3-3 composition for Brazil as they fight here. Oh. They will get the first one.
Yeah, Bonnie knocked off more or less by Neil. Couldn't stay on. He got the pin on a Crimzo, too. XQC, DPI 9000. Not going to live through that one, and Brazil wins that first fight. They're going to claim the point early.
Surefour still harassing on the flank right now. Nope will just go ahead and reset. Surefour actually gets out of that situation by using his translocator. Neil here, able to walk up, and man, that's just...
Oh, bad luck, man.
Yeah, bad luck, Crimzo.
I've been there, Crimzo. I've been there, man. It hurts. It hurts bad. Brazil with the control percent rolling early. Canada, see if they can maybe use this Earthshatter to turn something around. But Brazil's got the coalescence. They're going to go in. Neil with that Zarya shield on him. Not afraid to go deep. Note getting a little bit low. EMP comes through, though. Brazil might be in a little bit of trouble. Note demeched here. Agilities, a demech on the other side. Liko's still a lot of health, and he's getting really close to a grab here. But Canada, meanwhile, tearing apart his team. He's forced all the way back to spawn. I say you save this one.
Yeah, you definitely save this one. Neil has he looks a little bit nervous, honestly. He's had some very strange shatters into shield so far. That was another one when he was really cornered and going down with a lot of his teammates already eliminated. You're going to wish you had that ultimate back.
Well, he's just being a super aggressive Reinhardt. He's gotten some good pins out of that, yes. But whenever you go deep, if you don't have that Zarya shield, you're going to pay for it.
Absolutely are. So Brazil going to come around the backside this time and try and get back into the point. Agility's holding forward here. Surefour just harassing this D.Va.
Yeah,
Honorato having a hard time getting through.
Just make Tank's lives living hell.
Oh!
There's a big bomb from Note. XQC didn't even need to drop that Earthshatter, man. Just getting in there and distracting him. That's a team kill for Canada. Brazil's going to come back with a lot of ults, though.
They need to ignore Surefour or put Honorato on Surefour duty because this is ridiculous. Like, they can't even do anything about this Graviton that's coming in because their shield isn't there because their Reinhardt was at the rear using the shield to protect their D.Va. So there's nothing that they can do to counter that situation.
You hack the D.Va, and then you know that Graviton Surge isn't going to be eaten either. So that's an easy pickup for Canada. Big Earthshatter. XQC coming through. Brazil manages to mitigate a lot of that with the sound barrier from Alamo. Does get the boop on XQC too. And now Brazil charging back in. They may be able to turn the situation around here. They're going to use the grab as well. Bonnie Note going down. And Brazil, man, after everybody laid low early, looks like they're going to flip the point here.
Massive credit to Alemão for that sound barrier because not only did they cancel out the shatter, they canceled out the EMP as well because the EMP came down first. So take a look at this. Great hide with the speed boost. That was beautifully played by Alemão.
That's called game sense, ladies and gentlemen, and Alamo certainly got it. That's impressive stuff. Canada, though, they've got some ultimates on their way back again. some good crowd control. And again, if they can get that hack into the Diva, Agilities can toss in the grab without worrying much. They're going to engage with the Coalescence. XQC pinned. Oh, Shatter thrown out, but not getting a whole lot, though. That's Neil looking a bit nervous again. And now the self-destruct comes in. Alamo down. Got the mech out of Eldorado as well. And Canada cleaning up this fight on Brazil, trying to equalize this point, and they're going to flip it back.
And you see how Brazil plays. Like, they're going to go in.
Seriously.
They're going to go in with those Rhine charges and see if they can get that pick. But the downside is when it doesn't work, your Reinhardt's stuck back there, you pin the enemy Rhine, you're just not going to kill him with the charge because there's going to be healing at the end of it. When you're trying to finish off the enemy Reinhardt with a few hammer swings, it's just not going to be very viable.
Yeah.
Surefour going to come in here now with an EMP. Brazil out of ultimates except for a Coalescence. Maybe Lico can get it up, but that's going to be hard.
Just an EMP in the faces of the Brazilian players, and now Lico low. He's going to get taken out by the fire strike. There's the pin. Turnabout's fair play. Neil's going for a ride. Oh, the charge ended
Still
right
alive.
before he got to the pillar, but XQC helped Surefour finish him off anyway. Another grab comes in for Team Canada this time. Dudu's got the rally, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him up. No, doesn't look like it. Canada on the verge of getting the 2-0 here on Lijiang Tower, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Game 1 goes to Canada.
And we're going to see so much of this Sombra this weekend in the Overwatch World Cup, and there's a reason why. It's the infinite stealth right now is so good at scouting and for getting these flanks on. And Brazil really needs to figure out how they're going to deal with that strategy. Who is going to be assigned to trying to stop the Sombra? Oftentimes the Diva player, because you can sort of spin around in circles with your left click.
Sure. And
try and decloak her, or at least you can stop her because she's not that damaging. Use your defensive matrix to deal with that strategy, but they've got to start getting these roles sorted out, because right now Brazil just looking a little bit too aggressive, but they played both of those points relatively closely, all things considered.
They did, and you know, we talk about their aggression, but I feel like for the most part that aggression is very measured, you know? They maybe do take a few more chances than some other teams would that we would see in the Overwatch League, for instance, but I do feel like it's calculated. It doesn't look like complete chaos, you know, coming out from Brazil. But they're going to need to tighten it up a little bit more.
I think they just need to get on the same page with Neil, because he needs more support if he's going to go in like that, or he needs to stay back with his team. But a lot of it, too, I think, is because of the Sombra flanks, because they're seeing the Sombra, so they want to all in on the opposite side and try and neutralize the Sombra by just moving away from her, but it's just not working right now. We'll see if they can adjust when we get back into the next map, which is going to be Brazil's selection, and that selection will be King's Row.
The old classic, right? King's Row, a lot of people saying the best map in Overwatch. Everybody loves this one.
It's hard not to love
Hybrid
this
map, of course. Oh yeah, man, I love this map too, yeah. Except when I lose to the Pacific team, Talent Takedown, then I don't love it as much, but normally I love King's Row. You know who doesn't love King's Row, though?
Omnix?
Mandata, specifically. Yeah, he's not a big fan of King's Row. He's got a statue, but it's because he's dead, so.
That's a big bummer.
Spoiler alert. Here we go, Canada. Ahead 1 game over Brazil, but Brazil certainly made them work for it. A lot of fun stuff to watch on the Brazilian side of this matchup here. And I'm looking forward to the crazy stuff. We know Brazil can do it. We've seen Lico play the May and stuff before. I don't know if this is the map to do it, but
I mean, this is like the second map this Brazilian team has lost in the last 3 months of competition.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at mostly BGH, of course, Brazilian Gaming House, Ole, of course, on the team that gave them that run for their money in the finals, but wasn't able to quite take the map.
So right now, Canada going to come in, and it is going to be looking like Surefour is going to stick on this. And I think staying with the Sombra is going to be a good strategy for Canada, given how effective it was last time.
Definitely.
And you're not really showing anything if you're Canada right now. You're looking for that top slot. You're looking to beat USA.
Well, again, too, Surefour, everybody knows this guy's good on Sombra. He had some of the best Sombra stats during the latter part of the Overwatch League anyway. So it's no secret that this guy is good on this hero. And now that Sombra's even more meta, yeah, you can expect to see a lot of it. Here we go, Brazil on the attack, Canada on the defense as we start things out here on King's Row.
So Lico in the finals also played King's Row, and he also played the Hanzo.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, Ole running the Zenyatta rather than the Moira that you often see with this comp.
There's a hack onto the Brigitte there to start things off, and that's going to be enough.
It's going to be tough, and Surefour already claims too. As you see charging through everyone at the end, that's a solid team kill, and solid start for Canada. And Yeah, you can see Ole swapping over to that Moira right away. It's a rough meta present. You really have a hard time living with all of this disruption from the Sombra, from potentially a Wrecking Ball or a Doomfist as well. Not a good meta present at the moment.
Well, also, you're just at low healing because you basically just have a Lucio and a Zen, and Brigitte is not in melee range, so it becomes really, really difficult to sort of fight a prolonged poke engagement.
Sure enough, Canada starting to push Brazil back just a bit more themselves. Nope, takes out the mech of Honorado. Agility's backing away. Canada trying to play this one patiently here. EMP comes through from Surefour, and that's going to lead to a couple more kills. There goes Neil, and they go down as well. So, just a crisp engagement, I would say, by Canada. Waiting, drawing Brazil back onto the point. EMP comes in the middle, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe a bit of an overcommitment there. I don't think the Earthshatter necessarily had to come down in that fight.
Yeah, you could have gone with just EMP there.
Yeah, it was already won with the EMP, but that's nitpicking right now. If you look at the ult charge, Canada's coming up on so many other ultimates. Already have one, and they're going to have 3 more shortly, and Brazil's still working up. They have a Shatter now, though. Let's see what Neil can do with it.
I mean, usually you want to just run through the Rhine Shield, right? But Neil not able to quite get through it. Now he's got to face that Coalescence, taking some damage here, but largely Brazil waiting out. They've got the first tick on the point right now. Neil charging back across, but now they're in the grab. Here comes the self-destruct. This could get messy, and that's going to be 4 if you include the Diva mech from Note. Funny enough, not his biggest Diva bomb of the day, but still a pretty good setup. You got the grab.
Still a pretty good one there.
Oh, yeah. I'll take it.
A bomb any Diva player would take, I think. Neil holds on to the Earth Shatter. They did have to use the Coalescence. So Brazil coming up on a lot of ultimates, though, for this next engagement. They have to play around the EMP.
Crucially, though, they got a tick, too, in that last attack. So 1/3 of the way there, anyway, on this fight. Here we go. Brazil back on the point again. EMP comes in, they're going to pair it, but that sound barrier bounding over the top puts the sound barrier onto the remaining members of Canada, trying to keep people alive. Lico got 2, though. It's a 6v4 in favor of Brazil at the moment. Nearing that second tick, EMP comes in for Canada. Earthshatter for XQC, going to charge into Dudu for 1, but he's low health himself. He's going to go down. Brazil can hold on with that sound barrier. And I think they may be able to. Second tick taken. Canada clinging to life here on point A. I think you got to give it up, though.
They do have to give it up. So Brazil's push finally works thanks to Lico having an EMP and helping to take out some of these supports in the back line. Neil right here hopping his way over on the flank. There's the Shatter he was looking for. That's the setup. They said, we're going after the supports. Let's get the EMP down. You can shatter them afterwards. They zoned out the barrier to the side. Nicely done by Brazil, coming in with a game plan. Dudu finally there. After being hacked repeatedly, now he's got the rally to use. Honorado gonna throw out the mech, and here they come.
He's gonna send in the self-destruct, and he's gonna get 2 with it. Just toss it in there, man, why not?
And that's how you want to play around these charge engages, right? You want to back up the Reinhardt with something. That time they have the self-destruct there to go ahead and throw in. Ends up being a really good use of that ultimate. Lots of free movement on the payload. Does send Canada all the way back to the spawn at the end of point C. They're going to be feeling great right now.
Yeah, you got a chance again to defend this at the end of the point if you're Canada. Another good place. We see a lot of teams try to hold it, but Brazil finally with some real momentum going here. Can they keep it up, though? That's the question. Waiting now. Maybe for Neil to get that Earthshatter. He's pretty close. Yeah, that Fire Strike could have gotten it, but could have that shielded. EMP in the back, though. Lico comes in. Now the Coalescence for both sides here. Honorado manages to finish off XQC. Canada gonna drop the grab, though. Can they pair that self-destruct with it again? They get Alamo, yeah. And meanwhile, Crimzo gets one as well. So Canada manages to turn the fight around and to get themselves some defensive stability on the payload now.
Oh man, they're going to be feeling so good about that too, because they won a fight when so many of Brazil's ultimates were used, including both of their support ults. Now they can play far forward. Now they can play aggressive. Honorado now you can see on Sombra duty. Surefour has to use Translocator to get out. And it's going to be a slow approach here. As Brazil marches forward. They don't have the most mobility in the world. Lico already on the back flank right now as Neil pushes up towards the payload.
XQC has that Earthshatter. Waiting to use it, though. Gotta wait for that perfect time, right? Bonnie has a sound barrier in case things start to get a little bit hairy. XQC still with plenty of health on that barrier.
Oh, Lico.
Oh, Lico. They caught him, man. He couldn't get out.
You have to be able to play that better around the translocator, right? Because now the punishment is going to be real. There's going to be a stagger on Anil. Everything comes apart thanks to finding that Sombra. And that is, in a lot of ways, this meta in a nutshell.
Yep.
There's so much positional play around this Sombra, and it's about who can harass better with the Sombra, who can force the enemy team to turn around so it opens up plays for your front line.
Well, it's been a cool adaptation to see teams adding the Sombra into what was the triple tank, triple support comp previously, because if suddenly one of those 3 tanks is getting hacked all the time, or your supports are in a lot of trouble, it's hard to respond to that and keep the big death ball together, you know? Sure4 coming in, tries to get the hack onto the D.Va.
Doesn't get it.
No, didn't quite finish it off. Went a little bit too fast here. Manages to get the heals, though. Brazil pops that Coalescence. They're going to throw in the self-destruct, too. Behind the shield, it was XQC down.
And right there, too, Agilities was hacked on the Zarya, so he couldn't provide a bubble to help XQC survive.
Yeah. It's problems for Canada. Note just going to pop the self-destruct up on top there. Finds Liko with it somehow. Surprise that one connected. Meanwhile, Sure4 comes in with the EMP on top of the grab, but the sound barrier there again. Alamo so good at avoiding those EMPs, but Canada's got a sound barrier of their own. They are not done yet, and XQC back in the fight. Gets bounced back, though, and the Earth Shatter gets nobody. Meanwhile, though, Agilities and Sure4 picking up the slack with a kill into Honorado, and we are into overtime. Brazil struggling a bit here. Oh, the EMP comes in, though. Now Canada in a bit of trouble. They lose Agilities right off the bat. XQC swinging for his life, but it's not enough. And Brazil so close to taking point B. Sure4 down. That might be about it for Canada's defense. Barely holding on with Note. But Crimzo taking on the payload. And that's going to be point B. Brazil manages to keep the round going.
I think we need to take a moment and appreciate Alemão keeping Brazil in many of these fights by knowing when the ultimates were coming in and reading the positioning correctly, because his sound barriers have been excellent.
That's why they say remember the Alamo, man.
I think a lot of people are going to remember him after this.
That's right. He's so good. Whoa, another one from Honorado. Agility's caught by that self-destructed XQC down early. He has been dropping early in a lot of these fights. Neil finishing it up, and that is pretty clean for Brazil. Canada starting to sweat a bit here.
And this is where this composition on this map gets very strong, because there's so much HP as you're trying to push through these doors. They've nearly got, they're going to have a rally ready right here to push down on it. Graviton comes through.
That's right, SQC gets the kill to Dudu really early. They're going to drop the sound barrier from Brazil anyway. Neil not finding a lot of success with that one. EMP from Sure4 to try to finish it off. Alemão decides to go visit the Omnic village down in the pit there, and that's going to be a quick reset from Brazil. They've still got enough time for another fight.
See, they have to get there very quickly. At least they have Lucio speed to make it happen. An EMP may be the ticket here if they can manage to pull it off before a couple of these tank ultimates come out on the side of Canada.
One last chance for Brazil to try to finish this one. Less than 10 seconds. Somebody's got to get to the point. They got to touch it. Liko there with the EMP. Can he get in there? Gonna go an EMP right through the shield there. And that's gonna be Agilities down. Brazil trying to capitalize on it. They've got to already. Back into OT. The Earth Shatter again. Lays 3 low. But the self-destruct from Note. Is it going to be enough? He got those 2 off the back of the Earth Shatter. But they gotta get those respawns back in there if they're gonna hold this one. Brazil still with a lot of people on the point. And now the Doom Fist comes out from Agilities. Neil gets the DMEC on the Note, though. XQC back. He's on the Hammond. You can get that displacement and get a lot of benefit out of it. Big shield from XQC via the Wrecking Ball. Back in the ball form now. Can he knock anybody off? He's spinning on the payload. EMP from Sure4 trying to turn around, but no. Brazil will not be denied. They are moving that payload forward, and with the self-destruct there, I think that's enough. Brazil in overtime. They managed to finish the attack.
Wow, nice job by Brazil, and especially the key play that got them the advantage on the payload was that they denied Banny on the sound barrier. He was in the animation, and he was killed in the midst of it, so able to start getting that big edge as the rest of Team Canada trickles in. Brazil will go ahead and finish King's Row. Canada will now be forced to do the same.
Yeah, and you'd think a team like Canada would be up to the challenge, but, you know, it's quite the statement from Brazil. You know, they lost the first map 2-0. They did make those rounds pretty close, and it looks like we've got potentially another pretty close map here on King's Row.
Absolutely. Canada may be having to show, I think, a bit more of their hand than they would have liked in the first map here of the Los Angeles group stage.
Could be.
Obviously, you want to save some of the strategies you've been preparing for later on, for especially the last match of the weekend, which will be their match against USA. But you cannot afford to lose to Brazil right now.
Wow.
Brazil, you know, they have a chance here to tie up the series heading into the halftime, and they can take out Canada. They'll be looking good to secure a seed for BlizzCon.
Well, if Brazil manages to win this one, too, that suddenly makes Brazil versus Norway later a very interesting match, too.
Absolutely.
If Brazil upsets Canada, then it's really kind of anybody's game at this point as far as making it to BlizzCon. Here we go. Brazil on the defense. Canada must complete if they want to keep themselves alive on this map. They are one map ahead, though, so they still have the edge in the series overall, but you want to go into halftime with that 2-0. You don't want to be tied up. See what they can do. Bonnie might be looking for an early shot here before he swaps again. Otherwise, looks like they might go the Ana this time. Bonnie looking for a quick shot.
You really like the Ana.
Yeah, there's a swap.
Okay, he's gonna Crimzo gonna stick here. You like the healing output, but really you like the biotic grenade.
Oh yeah.
The anti-heal against the 3-3 compositions has been good. Liko gonna be in the back right now, looking for hack opportunities behind the entire formation of Canada. He wants to find something. Agilities is back in spawn. They're gonna swap. Everybody, 3 members of Canada went back. Agilities onto Farah, Surefour onto the Hanzo, and now Fanny onto the Mercy. So massive changes coming through.
Yeah, no kidding. Managed to chase Liko away as well. Low health now. Probably gonna get some heals pretty soon.
He's got to hack this Farah though. That's the thing is, with his composition, it's up to the Sombra to get the Farah out of the air.
It's gonna be tough. Nice adaptability by Canada, though, throwing something new at Brazil. But Agility's trapped in the corner. Honorado gonna be the one to bring him down. And Canada's swaps haven't bared a lot of fruit just yet.
Gonna try and start to push this objective, but there's still gonna be a player down. Liko dies. Crimzo gets him with a sleep.
Wow, you don't see a lot of sleep dart kills, but
I've never seen that.
Crimzo showing it to us right now. XQC has that nano boost here. Just gonna play it defensively though. Alamo down, so Brazil losing a few of their defenders. First tick taken by Canada. Waiting for the opportunity. Oh, he's gonna go and bring Neil right through the hotel. Separates him from his team and saves that Earthshatter. Brazil scattered a bit. Crimzo gonna take him down with some help from Agilities. There's a knockback, gonna keep Moira out of the hotel if they possibly can. Gonna fade in there though. And it looks like at the end of the day, Justice is gonna rain from about a 90-degree angle, I would say, but it's gonna be enough to
Justice rains from the side.
That's right. Justice rains from right behind you.
Well, Brazil, Liko got slept twice, by the way, in this engagement. So this wasn't even the first time that Liko was slept. There you go. I've never seen that. That was very interesting.
It's the permanent sleep dart. Yeah, yikes. Well, this far is going to be a problem. And, you know, even though we did see him tracked down by Honorado earlier on that Diva, it is going to be tough to knock him out of the air. I mean, if Agilities plays safe, and point B is a great place to do that. Brazil could struggle a little bit shutting this down.
Well, Liko wants to play the Zarya right now, so that's going to force them to try and avoid the energy that they're going to be giving the Zarya with this. Soundberry's going to go down.
Yeah, that's right. Alamo going to go and use the Lucio ultimate. Honorado's still trying to harass Agilities, but he's got the healing from that Mercy. XQC down again. He dropped the Earthshatter. Can they capitalize? 1 kill already on the Neil, so both Reinhardts out of commission for these teams. But Brazil has pushed Canada back to spawn.
Yeah, Brazil also used a wealth of ultimates there, though, so you know, the cost was pretty steep for this. They're also gonna get anti-healed right now. That was a huge grenade from Crimzo.
That's a problem. Brazil has to go running at that point.
Yeah, they had to back off because their support's got low. That was an overbuilding grenade, looked like, from Crimzo that caught the back line of Brazil.
Well, Crimzo's showing us some pretty great plays on the Ana so far here today. And that one is no exception. Surefour hammering away at the team from behind on that Hanzo. XQC going deep though. Dudu gets pinned. Meanwhile, Barrage comes in. Brazil doesn't lose a whole lot of people, but they do lose a lot of health. Gotta keep those tanks alive. Meanwhile, Agilities fighting it out. Alamo gets tracked down. Now Honorado on his own. They split up Brazil so much. It's hard to keep them alive, but Brazil manages to grab a kill or so on the outside, but it's not gonna be enough to stop this payload.
And Brazil is all-inning. They don't want to play with these flanks. So Sherfor is consistently getting in to the back line, but then they just speed boost out of the way and try and engage Canada. Did not work.
Aliko involved with the fight with the front line of Canada wasn't able to avoid that self-destruct, and it's going to kind of pave the way for Canada to get really close to the end of this one. Brazil coming out there, had a lot of people. Earthshatter comes in, blocked by XQC. Dragon Strike comes through, once again separating Neil from the rest of his team. He does get the heals he needs in the very end, though. Canada needing a way to finish this fight off. They're still just kind of grinding it forward, though. Self-destruct coming in, Earthshatter used, but no ability to follow up because of that self-destruct. Dudu down, there's no with one. XQC gets another, and Canada on the verge of taking B if they can just finish off these last members of Brazil.
Brazil did knock about 40 seconds off the clock, though, with this one defense, maybe a little more as it winds down. However, they are going to give up some payload movement now on point C as a result.
That was good. And you do see a little bit of sort of miscommunication on the Canada side. You know, that Earthshatter during the middle of a self-destruct. I mean, how do you get in on that, right? Everybody's hiding from the self-destruct, so you're not going to get a lot out of that shatter.
I think right there they're just trying to prevent any follow-up and to make sure that they weren't going to get space, because if they can follow up that and push them off the payload, might have been a problem.
No kills from that self-destruct, it looks like, though. Agility swaps onto the Doomfist. Now the grab comes in from Brazil. They've got the sound barrier to go deep with it. There goes Pani. That's right. Charged by Neil. And with the Reinhardt and the Mercy down, yeah, you're going to back off if you're Canada.
Yeah, a little bit late there again on the sound barrier. Alemão is going to wish he had that one for the next engagement. Once the Mercy was charged out, they had to use the grab and the sound barrier and the coalescence in that fight. So pretty big commitment there from Brazil. Canada coming back. Nope. On the Zarya. It'll be a while until they can get that Dragon Strike combo, but they do have the Space Jam combo right now, or they will.
Oops, stunned. Agility's in a little bit of trouble here. Has to back off and get some help. Charging through, doesn't hit the right click, and he gets hit instead by Neil's hammer. Meanwhile, big Earthshatter comes in. The sleep dart was used, but he was woken up right away. XQC and Agility's down. Brazil just rolling over Canada right now.
And they just shut that down.
Oh boy.
With no switching over, they wanted to charge up the Graviton as fast as they could so they would be able to pair it with the Dragon Strike or the Meteor Strike on the side of the Agility's Doomfist.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen though because of the shatter from Neil and the quick kill onto the nano boost at Zarya.
Well, they got that grab soon, so the combo potential is huge for Canada. They can just be patient and get a team fight that'll maybe push the payload most of the way there. Sherfor waiting for it. Note's got the grab now. They can't get it eaten, though. You can see Sherfor focusing on it, but the grab comes in from Brazil instead, and that's going to be
double grab.
Down. Yeah. Oh, they're going to go and use the Dragon Strike anyway. Liko and Neil get caught by it here. Oh, and there's a Meteor Strike from on high to finish off Ole. Prez comes in to bring Note back to the fight here. So Canada not out of it yet. Oh, and that's a D-Mech right before Honorado was about to get back into his spawn. That is really rough. He's going to have to go swap it. He does. He changes to Orisa. But they're on their last legs. Canada nearly there. They've got a minute remaining.
Yeah, but Canada used everything, Doa.
They did.
There was not enough movement for them to finish out or start to spawn camp here. So now they're going to come back in. Brazil with a rally.
I was going to say they need a big Earthshatter, but they didn't get it. Nano boost used on XQC. He's got to cut through that sound barrier, though. Brazil with a lot of help to work with. Neil charging, too. Oh, he's so low, but they couldn't finish him off. Now it's just XQC with the healing needs on the payload here. Doomfist.
Yeah, they're looking for picks right now. Canada playing this very cautiously. They're committing. This is the last fight. They're not going to reset.
Yep. Now waiting for it. They're going in now. Meteor Strike used. Everybody bottled up. Could be a lot of damage. Ooh, no kills out of that one. But the Dragon Strike comes through, and it's just going to separate Brazil enough for XQC to get to. Now he's got another Earthshatter, puts it to good use. Grab to finish things off, and that should be about it. Canada will finish with a bit of time left on the clock. They will come out ahead in this first round on Kings Row.
That was such a beautifully set up play by Team Canada. Yeah. So they used the Meteor Strike to back a couple of members of Brazil into the small room right next to the road. And then what happened is the Dragon struck on the other side through that room.
Yeah.
So right here, Alemão again with a beautiful sound barrier coming in. Great move onto XQC to prevent the nano boosted Reinhardt from getting the charge, but it wasn't enough. And then the combo, the zoning combo of the Meteor Strike into the Dragon Strike, very impressive from Team Canada.
Yeah, I have been really impressed with Alemão on the Brazilian side of things, man. This guy is a solid Lucio player.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to look at a minute 13 with only 13 seconds left on the clock for the side of Canada, and a minute now for Brazil. So this game's very tight. We'll see what they do, and if they can get a tick or two, or maybe even capture the point and go on an overtime run, will be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, with such a low amount of time for both teams, any tick you can get on the point is going to be a very valuable tick. And if you can cap it, that's huge.
I'm gonna be interested to see if Canada goes back into spawn again and swaps their comp like they did on their first attack to try and play around that Pharah. Brazil just gonna go for 3-3, nothing fancy. Just gonna try and bully their way to the point. Sherper has had so much success on this Sombra, will be reprising his role on that hero.
That's right.
He already hacked Honorado, that's huge.
Here comes the battering ram. They managed to protect Honorado as he goes through the hotel. Now they got to fight, though. XQC a little bit split from his team. Tries to charge to get back to them, though, and he's going to go down. They find Crimzo, too. What a play by Brazil to isolate XQC and capitalize on that one. Honorado demeched, and they lost Neil, too, but there goes Agility's Brazil. Dominant in this fight.
Yeah, only Sherfor and Note left right now. 4 members on the point for Team Brazil. Neil is charging in. He has respawn. The rest of Canada scrambling to get there.
XQC might be able to get there. No, he's going to go ahead and leave it. You don't want to go in on your own. You know the point is gone. Group up, get ready to defend. Now you got to try to hold them to as short a push as possible.
And this is where we get some of our most exciting Overwatch matches, is with these overtime pushes where you absolutely cannot leave the payload. Brazil didn't get a lot of ult charge there. Now, Note doing pretty well, lived for a long time, already up there with the self-destruct.
Well, they won the fight so fast, there wasn't much time to. Ole does have the Coalescence, though, which in these narrow corridors on Point P Kings Row can come up pretty big.
They're just going to use it.
Yeah, man.
Just making space.
You just got to get as much damn push as you can, right? Every meter matters.
Yeah, this is smart, though, because you're just going to make yourself a few more meters here if you can. Somebody has to be on that payload, and someone's going to get there in time. However, Liko will fall to the self-destruct.
Yeah, everybody worried about the EMP and the self-destruct as well. Canada charging back in. It looks like this is where the payload may stop. Honorado sleeping close enough to do it. Earthshatter comes in. Got Bonnie a note there, but no kills. And Neil not able to survive. They got to keep somebody on the payload, but I think this is kind of the beginning of the end for the push for Brazil. It's the end of the end now. But all over, all in all, not bad. 1 minute, you take the point, and you get it that far. That's pretty solid for Brazil.
Absolutely. Solid push here. And they've set the measuring stick now for Team Canada because they have to cap this point in only a minute 13 seconds. Neil going to start with this, and here you go. There, oh. EMP'd.
Interesting, came through. He did get a couple with that, but again, there just wasn't a lot to follow up on because they had already lost a few people on the Brazilian side.
Yeah, it's so hard too because a nano-boosted Reinhardt is optimal in these situations for Team Canada when you just need to shove them off the cart for a split second.
Yeah.
They have a choice of just getting hammered to death, charging up that Earthshatter really quickly, or simply bowing out of the match, or bowing out of the point at least. This is going to be a tough push though for Canada. All things considered, very well done by Brazil for having such a small amount of time in the bank.
Now, I know Canada's known for being polite, but you know what? The players on Team Canada are not known for that. So it's time to be mean. It's time to get in there.
Oh, I don't know if that's true.
Take the point as fast as you can.
I think most of those Canadian players are very polite, though. They've never...
Some good kids. Some good kids.
Most.
Good kids. Here we go. Canada, they got a little bit more time in the time bank, 13 seconds more than Brazil had, but they still have a lot to accomplish, man. Even taking point A at all in overtime is tough. Here we go. Canada on the attack, trying to avoid the tie going into halftime.
And the Pharah coming out again, so they've read the situation correctly. They want to use the Hanzo. It's all about the poke right now.
Sure enough.
And Honorado going to fly up while the rest of his teammates try and play aggressively. But Canada, they just retreat. They want to get this poke damage, and then Sherfor will find Ole.
Oh, that was a big sleep dart onto Neil, man. He took so much damage, even though they woke him up right away, and that's going to mean a kill. There goes Liko, and you know, normally you see these Pharah pushes can be a little bit slower sometimes, but man, they got the picks they needed, and that was a clean team kill for Canada.
Canada's winning because they have better patience in these matches. They're really showing that they know how to play as a team at a high level.
Crimzo, dude, check it out.
Crimzo, that's just such a clutch sleep dart right there, Neil.
Yeah. Nice grenade afterwards, and that's a quick payload started here. So most of this time is going to get eaten up while the payload comes out of the door, but you're still going to get that better opportunity than Brazil had.
Yeah, Brazil wiped so quickly that they're going to have a chance to defend at the choke, which is really ideal for them because it's going to be overtime from this point forward for Team Canada. Agility's just sitting there with the rocket barrage. Seeing what they can do with this.
Gotta watch your back, man. The barrage is coming in from on top pretty soon here, probably. Crimzo waiting it out. He's got that nano boost. Sleep dart comes in, doesn't connect with anybody. Nano onto Agilities. Agilities, he's got the shield. Oh, but he can't stay alive. They burnt through that Zarya shield so fast.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
Benny used
Earth
that.
Shatter.
Benny used the Mercy ultimate as well.
Yeah. Oh, but the Dragon Strike comes through for sure for Benny down, though. They've lost their Mercy. Can Brazil hold on? They've got a good comp to be defensive with. They've still got their Moira. And Ole, that's a lot of healing.
They can charge up their Zarya. They have an Earth Shatter. Agilities wants to come in, doesn't find the pick and gets picked off by Liko.
Oh no, he didn't have the support. No, didn't get the shield on him in time, I don't think. And now Canada in a little bit of trouble here. Make that a lot as the Coalescence comes in. Surefort does get the kill into Honorado. Self-destruct delays Canada just a bit, but Brazil has to back away. The call, though, may not come through on everyone. They get kind of split, but the kills are happening. The individual skirmishes keeping Brazil in it. Note coming in, fully charged, gets a couple of them, but the grab comes through on Brazilian side. It's a total brawl now. And Neil, the last man standing, Dudu comes in on the Tracer from behind.
It's
still
just
delaying the
Dudu.
payload. And now Note.
Honorado.
To finally finish him off.
Okay, Honorado's backing off. He wants some more of his teammates. This is getting very close. Down to the wire, Doa. Honorado rolling around the side on the Wrecking Ball. He's going to get here in time to stop it for just a little bit, but that may not be enough.
I mean, that shield just got belted immediately. Brazil coming in, and they can't quite do it. Canada barely pulls it out on Kings Row. Going up 2-0 going into halftime.
I think this is a lot closer than a lot of people thought it would be because you know that Crimson looking relieved after that one. Brazil nearly sneaking that map out. Canada eking it out 5-4 in our time bank.
Well, it's a 2-0 for Canada right now, but I don't think you can call this one one-sided at all. Brazil definitely showing they deserve to be here, and I think we're in for a pretty exciting second half.
Yeah, I think Brazil made some pretty good adaptations there to dealing with the Sombra and the flanks. You can see they're playing all in right now, and Canada, they're waiting for Brazil to make mistakes, but it's been a bit rough for them. There haven't been a whole lot for them that they've successfully exploited, I should say.
Yeah. And we've got an interview with Liko down on the stage floor. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you very much, Doa. Liko, that was a very, very close match there, man. I remember us talking before we even went into this World Cup stage, and you guys were kind of giving us your thoughts. And you kind of half and half on how you were feeling going into this match. You guys were here to learn. Now that you've actually been out there and played against Team Canada, how are you feeling? You feeling like you guys can actually like take a map off these guys?
Yeah, I think that what I can say is that we're probably not the best in the world. I think it's pretty clear that we're not the best in the world, but we're here to give the best in the world a run for the money, you know.
Well, you've definitely done that so far. Now, you know, you guys got a chance to play here last year. What's been the biggest difference this year for you guys as a team?
I think that we came with a different mindset. We came very united. We came in as a team. We're going to win as a team. We're going to lose as a team. I think that's our main focus, and we're looking to do it up big on the stage.
All right, all right. Well, yo, everybody give it up for Liko. Best of luck moving into the second half. And guys, we'll have a lot more Overwatch action coming to you guys right after the break.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omened by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
Hey, Doa, thanks for the ride.
No problem.
I've got something you've got to hear. This car has a pretty good sound system, right?
Yeah, the best.
Excellent. Because we're going to need to hear the whole range to really appreciate this. It's a thing of beauty. You ready?
I am as ready as I'll ever be.
This is Monte Cristo, and today we're going to take a look at a strategic breakdown of the latest match between the Los Angeles Gladiators and the Seoul Dynasty. Right off the bat, we're going to get a couple of environmental kills. But
I hear it.
At the response
I feel like I've heard this one before.
It's like honey dripping into your ears, all of the treble and the bass working together in perfect harmony.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
It's like ancient Norse deity decided to open his mouth and... You just don't appreciate art.
That's it. That is definitely it.
Shamelessly original, the Toyota CHR. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup. Dylan Monty here, and guess what? Canada's up 2-0 over Brazil, but it's a very close match so far, wasn't it?
Yeah, very close match. Even on those control points, Canada looked a little bit stronger in that, but obviously that King's Row went down to the absolute wire. Haven't been some, I think, heroics for Note at the end, who was nano boosted on that Zarya, getting that Graviton up. Could have been really, really dicey for Team Canada. It's probably not the way they wanted to get one of their wins against Brazil. Yeah. And the thing is, they're going to have to keep playing on Brazil's map selections too, and it will be Temple of Anubis coming up next. So as long as Brazil loses, there's still those chance to grab those maps at their discretion, really.
I think they'd prefer to be in a situation where they didn't have to pick the map, because that means they would have won. But, you know, while you've got the opportunity, why not, you know, pick something good?
But we look at Temple of Anubis here, and that's another map that the Brazil Gaming House guys played against Azurus in the finals. So, you know, they're really sticking with a lot of the maps that they are going to be familiar with from having practiced a lot recently.
Pretty much. Well, let's check out a stat from that last match. It's pretty cool. Comparing the Reinhardts, XQC, and Neil. You can see XQC coming out a bit on top, quite a bit in the final close, actually. But he likes to wade in there with the hammer swinging, doesn't he?
Yeah, and this is across both of the maps that we have so far, so not just King's Row, but a combination. A part of this, too, is that I think the support for Neil was a little more limited on Lijiang Tower, where they started to get it together, and provide a little bit better support, and also he was tempering his aggression a little bit more. We didn't see a lot of the, or as many, I should say, of those charge initiations.
I mean, and honestly, like as far as stats on this page though goes, Final Blows is probably one of the least important. If you look at things like Earthshatter, stuns, deaths, things like that, they're pretty close overall. So you do see kind of good support for these Reinhardts in terms of setting up those stuns, keeping the Reinhardt alive, and I think that just shows you how close this match has been too from a numbers side of things. But forget the numbers. We're going to Temple of Anubis, gonna be our assault map for map number 3.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at that too, that last match. We've been talking about Ale Mao a lot, who's been really good, and he provided 26 sound barriers on King's Row. It was a longer map, but that's still pretty significant. Benny had 14. Of course, Benny was also playing a lot of Mercy, so it's not really indicative. But that's still very impressive play from Ale Mao. His awareness seems strong. Well,
one of Canada's great strengths, right, is Surefour on that Sombra, and Ale Mao has done a really good job of avoiding a lot of those EMPs and being there with the clutch sound barriers. So I think he's kind of been able to sort of mitigate one of Canada's most dangerous tools, which is one of the big things that's making this match close.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Team Canada right here. They are going to be playing with XQC on the Orisa. Now, what we've seen on recently on Anubis and some of the contenders matches is, of course, the meta really hasn't shifted that much. There's still a lot of Widowmaker, still a lot of Junkrat. The main difference is how you get that Orisa to the high ground, which is that you use Symmetra portals now instead of the Maywall boost strategy. So,
or you just set up on the low ground too.
Yeah, they're not going to do it here. I imagine Brazil will do it though, because Brazil Gaming House was doing that in the South America Contenders Finals. But this right now will be a low ground defense for Team Canada, even though they are using a very popular combination. We do get a treat today. See some Widowmaker from Surefour, of course, fresh off of his 1v1 Widowmaker victory against Carpe and the All-Star.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to see, and definitely proved he's got the skills. We already knew that from Overwatch League anyway.
He's definitely got the chops. So Brazil going to come in. Ale Mao switching over to the Lucio, doing a little bit of scouting with the Sombra first. Brazil looking like they want to run a dive composition here. This is what they ran against Azurus in those finals.
Can really punish the low ground Orisa defense too. You know, that's why we see a lot of the Orisas moving up to that high ground too, is because the dive it's a bit trickier to get you there. They're going to go in, and yeah, right away. That broken up, a lot on the defense. Trying to keep people alive is Brazil. Surefour, meanwhile, looking for those shots. Ooh, nearly had one on the Ana. Agilities does get the DMEC onto Honorado. There's one kill, so Canada ahead 6-5 in numbers overall. Surefour looking around the back. Those defense trying to go for the long flank as they wait for their tank to come back.
Yeah, I think they could have done this earlier. When you have a low ground defense like we're seeing from Canada and the Widowmaker is up towards the back at the normal high perch, you know, you can get that Genji around back before you try and dive in. They're going to try it again right here, going on to XQC.
Yeah, Surefour going around to the side again. Ooh, it's so hard to hit those tracers, man. Gets a big shot on the Winston, but man, that's a lot of HP in your face. But Note finishes him off. That headshot onto Neil really set that kill up. Another one onto Ale Mao. Enough to finish him. And it looks like they're having a tough time getting to the Widowmaker.
I mean, Crimso's Orb of Discord really helped that as well. If not, the Winston probably would have won that fight before we could have seen Bonnie come over there and go ahead and heal Surefour up. But basically all the ults from Canada are going to be coming online soon. Brazil, you know, while they're running Ole on this Ana, they have to stay in these sidelines, and that's hard. Because even if you're diving onto XQC on that central platform, you have to deal with the barrier cutting off the healing from the Ana.
And diving in again. How much pressure are they going to put on? Oh, Neil just left on his own, man. He went in and he just got melted. Crimso down, though, so maybe an opportunity for Brazil as Lico rather gets two. Brazil's got the respawn advantage as well, but Surefour coming back with a headshot onto the Genji. Bonnie brings Crimso back up again. And Agilities manages to get Honorado with the trap, too. So it looked dicey for Canada for the moment, but they held strong.
I mean, Surefour shut down the Blade, the Dragon Blade. That's the biggest part right now. Brazil has only had 2 eliminations, and they were both on this attack right here. You hear that Dragon Blade going down, Lico swinging at a Diva. You're not going to chop through that suit too quickly.
Nope. And you got to be ready to deflect that bullet, not just take it. Great advice for Genji players from me right there.
Who's Ole going to be nano boosting? Because they used the Dragon Blade already. Might have to go onto the Winston, but the Winston already has Primal. I'm feeling a little bit bad about your options right now if you're Brazil for that nano.
Yeah, we do see Dudu sneaking around the back, trying to get onto Surefour here. Self-destruct comes in, and they get Agilities. He couldn't avoid it. Now self-destruct from Note for Team Canada. Bonnie down as well, so no mercy for Canada at the moment. Just Ale Mao trying to stay alive in the back, but he can't. Note tracks him down. Surefour has a Genji in his face, 2 HP. Can he get to the big health pack?
Yes!
He can, just barely. Note, meanwhile, distracts Liko enough to keep Sherfor alive, but he jumps back down and gets eliminated. Looks like Blizzard's got point A now.
Honorado faked out Team Canada with that self-destruct because it looked like it was going to be flying past to the point. So a lot of the Team Canada members moved forward, but instead it bounced off one of the pillars and back into that high ground room. Yeah. And that's where they got caught to set up the push here for Brazil and the take on point A.
Crazy. Well, Brazil with a couple ultimates ready to go. They're going to have that sound barrier as well. Way to protect the Genji as he goes in with the Dragon Blade.
Yeah, question now is, can Agilities buy time with this Riptire? Because if he can't, this might end up badly.
Bonnie down early on. Brazil drops that sound barrier. They got to get more kills than that, though. A little bit of progress on the point already. Not quite that one tick. Liko waiting it out. They're starting to pick apart Canada. Canada just seems completely scattered at this point. Blade comes in. Who's going to stop him? Liko taking some damage on the Mercy, actually, but it's going to be Honorado, or Agilities rather, that finishes him off. But it's already nearly captured by Brazil. Back on the point again. Transcendence comes in for Canada, trying to stay alive on the point right now, but Brazil seems to just be picking them apart piece by piece.
And they're trying, Note still in suit somehow. Target selection hasn't been great from Brazil. Can they actually pull this out?
I think it's been good enough, right? Sherfor comes in with the hack though on the doo-doo. Can't get to the health pack in time. Crimson with the kill there. Gonna be the self-destruct for Note. As Brazil still in this one. They had to back away for that one. Oh, Sherfor down. Liko takes him before he can get out with the translocator. And now Agilities needs to have a huge blade. A kill onto Ole is certainly a good start, but everybody else backs away. Looks like that'll be a hold at the very end from Canada, though.
I mean, you're thrilled with that if you're Brazil.
Oh, no way. Yeah,
Canada had to use Valkyrie and the Dragon Blade without any effect at the end of that fight. So you're going to be coming back in. You've got a sound barrier to engage. You have to play around Sherfor's EMP, though. However, Alemão has been showing that he's more than capable of doing that so far in this series.
So, Canada holds on. Brazil coming back with a good amount of ultimates, about ready to go. Gonna have that Primal Rage from Neil. They're gonna have the Dragon Blade for Liko as well.
There comes Speed Boost. Move people in. There, he's gonna move the support around the flank. Tanks are all alone. Neil is just gonna die before he can use the Primal Rage.
Yeah,
that's gonna wash that fight.
I feel like we've seen a lot of this in the attack from Brazil. We've seen Neil go in, but then just not be kept alive.
It's just a slight timing issue there. The Lucio is trying to help the other supports get into the engagement,
right?
Help Ole around the side, and instead Neil goes in early, and he just gets, I mean, nobody's there. Like, what are you gonna do?
The fact is, too, is that unless you have a sound barrier, if your healers are Lucio and Zenyatta, and the other team wants to burn down your Winston, they're gonna burn down your Winston.
Yeah, and
you can't keep them alive with that healing.
And you can't engage with the sound barrier either because you know they have EMP. So
yeah.
There's not. It really is a mind game right now about the EMP.
Yeah, all right, well, that's a nice...
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's a nice grenade. Crimzo just gets stuck right away. Sherfor comes into the big EMP, though. Ole down immediately. Blade for Agilities, but he's kind of forced out, booped away by Alemão, who got that sound barrier down just in time here. Canada coming back with a lot of ultimates on the respawns. Liko pulls out the blade, though, and there goes Bonnie. Ooh, knocked into oblivion, though, by SQC, who also gets Alemão as well. Canada looking to hold off of this nano-boosted Winston, and they will.
They will. Only a minute and a half now for Brazil. This is the time to change that composition. That's what they can maybe get some more ultimates out. They want to use the Reinhardt again. They're going to switch Liko over to the Zarya. So back to the 3-3.
Yeah, I like this a lot better because, again, how are you going to keep your Winston alive with Lucio Zenyatta? Like, I just don't think there's enough healing if the other team wants to focus him.
Yeah, I agree. You have to get those picks really quickly, or you have to have a very good use of the sound barrier. Difficult against the Sombra to make that happen.
Yeah. Here we go. Brazil backed into the corner here. Something for Canada to possibly exploit there. They've got the self-destruct. XQC just tickling him with the laser. And now Agilities, waiting on that Doomfist. Trying to be disruptive. Knocks the Reinhardt out of the way, rather. XQC down early, though. Doo-Doo back on that Brigitte, making a difference here. It's a different type of comp than Canada had to face just a moment ago. And the swap for Brazil might just do it. Remember, they only need that one tick. Crimzo comes in with the Transcendence. You got to be aggressive with this. They're going in with the EMP. Canada gets two right away. That's going to be the end of the push for Brazil. Had to use a bit. to get the win, but now they've left Brazil with no ultimates and only 20 seconds remaining. They will have to scramble to get back to the point.
I mean, excellent timing on the EMP and the Transcendence, because you're making it incredibly difficult for Brazil to even get back to the point, and you get the team back. There's a that's really good bonus for you.
I mean, that's GG right there, man. I mean, if you're gonna have to wait, you're gonna have to go in 5v6.
Alemão is here, though. He's gonna be able to contest this point. As long as nope, not anymore.
Now they get there just in time with Ole, but Ole down immediately. I mean, that's the thing. You had to go so fast just to get there that you're not able to set up any sort of coordinated push, and it's going to be easy defense for Canada. Oh yeah, I like to see that. The Nano Zen doesn't make a bit of difference. It's over. Canada manages to hold on defense. It was scary there for a moment, though. That first attack for Brazil nearly capped the point right there.
Yeah, it was really scary. However, they are stopped at 92.7%.
Yeah.
Canada now, basically just take both points, and you will win not only this map, but this series, as they would head up 3-0.
That's right. We do have 4 games to play, but Canada, of course, would enjoy having that perfect sweep.
It may come down to maps later, so you never know here.
Definitely true. It is neat, too, to see how Brazil, you know, yeah, they've been held, they've been losing these maps, but man, they have pushed Canada to their limit already, and I don't think Canada was really expecting to be tested this much.
No, I really don't think so either, Doa. And now Canada going to come out on their attack round. Looks like we're sure for the Sombra. The Sombra Doomfist is something we're going to get very used to seeing this weekend.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be the future of Overwatch for the time being.
And, you know, there we go. Do you see the Symmetra portal? So it's all about setting up on the high ground instead of using the May wall, which takes a bit longer.
Junkrat doesn't need it.
Liko doesn't need any help.
Nope. Getting
up there, and neither will Dudu on the Widowmaker. So they will be playing further back. And this has always been, when we had an Overwatch League, one of the toughest points to break on a map, because you do have to set up a long flank, typically with a Genji, in order to make this work. Very hard to go Widowmaker on attack into this because of the Orisa barrier and the D.Va on the high ground. And even if you do flank, it's so easy for the Junkrat to bounce across the point. So if you use your mobility to get up on top of the high ground, the Junkrat just leaves.
XQC gonna eat a trap there. A little bit of percentage given to Liko's ultimate.
Yeah, Liko playing pretty far forward with this damage boost right now. He's got to be careful with the Sombra on the enemy team. And here comes the flank around the side, covering that opening. It's XQC alone on one side. Now he's going to be joined by Agilities.
And Dudu's gonna have to worry a little bit about the Sureforce Sombra on the other side too. He's got Ole with him though, to help try to keep him safe. But hey, Zenyatta has to worry about Sombra a little bit too. Yeah, coming in now, Sureforce doing a bit of damage before going out.
Just what they needed.
Brazil though, unmoved so far from the high ground. Ooh, sleep dart onto Dudu. So not gonna have to worry about that Widow for a second. You can just be aggressive here. He's gonna wake up again. Sureforce though, still just being annoying. Oh, and Sureforce meanwhile gets a kill into Ole. Agilities gets one onto Liko. DPS and support down now for Team Brazil. They're in trouble. Yeah. Almo did bring Liko back up though.
Honorado still somehow in his back, finally D-back there. About 1 HP left and taken out by XQC. This is Team Canada attacking both flanks simultaneously, and this is the patience that we talk about from Team Canada. They don't make too aggressive plays. They wait until they're in absolutely the right positioning, where Sureforce's on that flank, even though he hadn't had a lot of success up until that point. XQC and Agilities can come in from the other side, and you have to do those pincer attacks on Anubis to be successful.
I mean, that sleep dart from Bonnie was great, man. Meanwhile, Agilities has the blade. Oh, a sleep dart, though, comes in from Ole. Gonna put the Genji to sleep for now. XQC down. A few kills. There's a tire. Liko, not too hard to track down a sleeping Genji, is it? Brazil loses their D.Va mech, but still looking okay on the point right now. Another sleep dart onto Note. He's gonna get probably D-mech'd at some point. No, managed to barely escape with his mech intact. But like I was saying before the fight began, Banny's sleep dart was so good because it disabled the Widowmaker long enough for Canada to be more aggressive and kind of get position to really fight. Key moment there in that fight.
Absolutely. And now we're going to see some swaps on Rato. Will fall to Agility's EMP. Doesn't hit anybody, and neither will that Diva Bomb. Yeah. Everyone was around the corner. Sleep Dart onto the Primal Rage. That's a lot of ults that have been canceled by Canada.
There's so many Sleep Darts flying around this game right now. It's like people have forgotten to play against it, man. Making it easy for these Anas, it seems like. Liko swapped to that Reaper, but he was down already, and XQC is starting to stop through the rest of Brazil. Another Sleep Dart onto Ole. Turnabout's fair play, man. How do you like it? Banny comes in and kills his counterpart on the other side. Canada rocking in there with the Transcendence. Agility's with the Blade to try to finish this off, and he's got the Nano Boost too. What? Wait for it. There you go. It's a zoning Nano Blade, guys. It's a zoning Nano Blade. Meanwhile, Hammond comes in. Honorado not living too long on that Wrecking Brawl. And Canada manages to handle the respawns, and they will finish Temple of Anubis.
And the big difference for Canada, Doa, the Sombra. Hack the planet, Surefour with 28 enemies hacked on that map. And he was just disabling people over and over and over again in these fights. Brazil looked like they may have been able to turn it around after Canada used so many ultimates, but Surefour came back, hacked 2 of the remaining people on the point just by using his normal hack ability, and that was just going to be it.
Yeah. It's a bit more chaotic, too, on a map like Temple of Anubis. You know, we saw Alamau play really well around that Sombra on King's Row, but when it comes to an assault map like this, where there's a lot of flanks to worry about, the combat is much more close quarters, you get less time to kind of set up, then suddenly it's a little bit tougher to keep your team as protected.
Yeah, it was. And you look at Surefour, and he only did 16% of his team's damage. Now, obviously, that's very low. Agility's at 28%, but it's all about the positioning. It's all about that patience, right?
But you're a utility DPS with that Sombra anyway.
Yeah, and it's about pulling the members of the enemy team apart and into bad positioning, or being scared that they're going to get hacked, or being scared that they're going to get EMP'd. Canada's just, they're happy to wait. You know, they're not panicking at any point in time. They're waiting for their setups to happen naturally for them. And it is really paying off right now. And our last map will be Route 66. Last chance for Brazil to pick up a win here, and Canada looking for that sweep to put them ahead in an early and advantageous position in this stop of the Overwatch World Cup.
Another map pick for Brazil. And it's like we said, you know, you at least want to come away with a map win because it can make the difference down the line. But, you know, again, you'd think they would need to get that upset over a team like Canada, maybe over US later to try to stay in this one. But they've certainly made it a fight. It's been a good match so far.
Yes, they have. And Brazil has other chances to get in, like you're saying. So it's not the end of the world for them. A warm-up map that they certainly have performed well on. Canada being pushed to their limits at times, not on Anubis. They looked a little bit better there, but I don't know. Anubis is a map that requires a lot of these very specific flank attacks, especially on A, to execute. And I don't know if that's the map I would have necessarily picked if I was Brazil, because I just think Canada, these guys are so accustomed to playing at an Overwatch League level that you want to brawl it out. Where Brazil was successful is in the trenches on point B and C on King's Row.
Right. Man, I think at this point, too, you might as well rename Temple of Anubis Dreamland with all the sleep darts that got hit by Ole and Bonnie.
Yeah, seriously. You know, we've had some impressive play on it from Crimzo as well, and this is a player who hasn't been in the Overwatch League yet, but obviously selected for this Canadian team, and he's been strutting his stuff out here today.
Strutting his stuff, huh? All right. Well, Ole back on the Brazilian side now as they get ready to get started. Dudu on that Tracer again. There's no Brigitte on the other side. Why not? Go for it. Meanwhile, Surefour hanging around the outside. A little bit of damage, but yeah, Honorado ready to check for him. And you see that's a Diva's job now. The Diva has to be ready to check for the Sombras.
Spin like an idiot.
It's your mandate.
See if there's somebody invisible there.
Yeah, got a Sombra check. Here we go. Meanwhile, Liko just trying to be disruptive here, but Canada taking a really aggressive post on the defense here.
Well, he'll already hacked too, and that's been very disruptive for this Brazil team. Yeah, he pushed back. Dudu trying to get some damage done to the back line, but doesn't have any luck. Does have to recall from the Tracer back with his team, and this dive is really ineffective. And I just don't think they're going to ever have a chance to really dive efficiently against Canada, because Canada's playing so passively that you know, what do you do? They'll just give up some space. They're happy to concede territory, and yeah, you have to swap right now, and I like this change.
Yeah, gonna go for the dive here, and Liko on the Pharah, so gonna try to take advantage of Canada not really having a lot of good long-range damage coming in.
Liko also a player known for his Pharah, so this is gonna be interesting. We'll see what he can do on it.
Well, it was a map they picked. Clearly they are ready to go. Liko from behind here trying to do some damage. Is there a knockoff? Yes, there certainly is. Not Fanny trying to wall ride his way back up and nope, can't quite live. Man, it was a good effort, but there's some walls even Lucio can't ride. Meanwhile, Honorado gets a nano boost, going up, trying to pop. No, out of the mech. He's going to go and use the self-destruct anyway to try to get that mech back. Meanwhile, Liko roasted by Crimzo and that coalescence. That's one of the abilities you can reach far with. That works.
And Ole dying at the end to agility is massive. It's going to give Banny enough time to get back. Now we see Brazil having to collect again. Neil wants to go on the Reinhardt, and I think that might be wise. He's getting hacked ridiculously quickly in these fights. Dudu wants to go to the Brigitte right now as well. So massive changes coming out on the side of the Brazil, trying to sort of play a modified 3-3 with the Pharah up there instead of a Zarya.
Yeah, I think you can certainly do that.
Here comes the EMP.
Yeah, he's got the pharmacy ready to go. Liko knocked out of the air. Meanwhile, Barrage comes in. He's dodging rockets. It's a Dance Dance Revolution there as he tries to stay alive. And just to do it. Meanwhile, Surefour backs away. Self-destruct comes in, not catching any of the members of Canada. Meanwhile, Graviton Surge, XQC charging through it. Some damage in onto Neil here. It's a battle of the Reinhardts. The mind game's coming in, but XQC holding that Earth Shatter. Canada, again, showing that patience.
Yeah, they want this full hold right now. They think they've got Brazil's number. They are dialed in on this match. If there's a Shatter, gonna go ahead and stun Dudu, but it doesn't stun anybody else, so Brazil can push forward.
Yeah, that's right, trying to exploit the aggression, but it's gonna be Brazil pushing through with that aggression. Liko, though, he needs to do more damage with this Pharah. A lot of it's getting healed up really quick because you've got 3 healers on the other side. You need to make picks, and it's tough to do with the chip damage that Pharah puts in.
I mean, to be fair, Liko is outputting 41% of his team's damage right now.
I mean,
but it's just that they can't close the gap.
He's the only DPS.
Yeah, you're right. He's giving over a lot of charge because the rest of his team can't close the gap.
I don't know. All right. Brazil really starting to struggle here, and that's the thing is yeah, if you get picks with the Pharah, great. And Neil, of course, separated. Dudu trying to keep him alive, and he's just going to get himself killed as well. And you don't see the Pharah run into the comp that Canada is using very often because of this reason here. You can't finish anybody, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely true. It is a bit tricky. Surefour going to have the EMP as well. Can he drop Liko out of the sky like a rock?
Well, he's done it before. Ah, there's the check. Yep. You found a Sombra. Honorado not being tricked at all. Zombie comes in. Oh, Liko gets him with a barrage. Surprise barrage. Surefour down. Didn't get to use his EMP. Maybe an opportunity here for Brazil. Crimzo keeping people alive with that coalescence for now. Meanwhile, a bigger shatter could make all the difference. XQC waiting to use his too. Again, those mind games between those Reinhardts could be game defining. Gets a charge onto agility.
Nice shatter.
Great direction for the shatter, actually. Honorado gets 2 with the self-destruct off of it. Neil pushing it through in the end. I love it, man. He went right past XQC, and he's like, you know what? Guess who is undefended? Your back line. I'm going to give him the Earth Shatter.
That's right. Had the angle coming through Big Earl, so Brazil will be able to push through and take point A here.
Yeah.
Defense by Team Canada, stalwart throughout most of the point, but now will come apart at the end. Neil with the charge into the side just ignores, Reinhardt and the Zarya.
I think if you're Canada, though, you're not worried at all about this. I mean, you push them to overtime on point A. They are not going to have anywhere near as much time to finish B and especially C that you really need on Route 66. So
yeah, this is a long point, too. It's so hard to go into overtime on A and actually finish this map.
I really don't think you're too worried if you're Canada. EMP coming in early here. Going to try to win a fight, take that early defensive position. Nice hack onto Dudu. Going to get out with a shield bash just in time, though. Surefour just trying to hack everybody here.
And with that much time on the clock, you may wonder why Surefour engaged with that, but look at how many ults just came online. XQC, Crimzo, and Note all get theirs as a result of that fight.
Yeah.
So you're basically just offsetting your EMP with the rest of your team, and you're going to keep trying to defend by using the EMP to charge everybody else's ults, so you use those ults to charge up the EMP.
I mean, look at this. Half of Brazil is just way back by their spawn. Here comes Bonnie trying to stay alive, but man, they have eaten up so much time off the time bank already. Coalescence coming back in again. So you see waiting for it, hammer time, and no defense against that one from Brazil.
I mean, there's no defense because Neil, again, was a little bit ahead of his team, forced the coalescence to be used.
Yep.
It's the saddest charge since the Light Brigade, Noah.
But not quite as poetic.
Tennyson didn't write this one, but...
That's true, yeah. Somber's to the left of me, Somber's to the right of me. Somber's behind me. Yeah, it's true. Hacks everywhere. Well, Canada has done an incredible job of buying time, and man, that's another Earth Shatter that comes up with nothing. Oh, into the EMP!
There's no
kills. Wow, I'm actually shocked that they lived. Whoa, all right. Lico gets a DMEC on a note, and I think Canada's kind of stunned with that one too, as Brazil gets aggressive here. Crimzo down. Ole pushes forward, and Brazil manages to turn that fight around. That is not one you would expect Brazil to win at the beginning of this.
I mean, it was cool, but there was no coalescence to actually take advantage of a lot of that. If XQC can't get there, where's the damage coming from? Agilities has no charge. Where's the damage coming from? The answer there was it wasn't really coming from anywhere. There wasn't enough burst to finish anybody down, so inadvertently, they give Brazil an opening to start pushing this payload in overtime.
You know, at the end of the day, though, we are going to be into overtime, and it's not even halfway through point B. So still a great hold for Canada here. Brazil needs to be huge to even get it to point C. And pushing forward here, trying to keep Canada bottled up, but they lose Neil already. It's a 6v5 in favor of Canada. Sound barriers for both teams as they go in, and we are into overtime now. Self-destruct. And nobody caught by that one. Brazil has to re-engage, but it's going to be things like that might give it to Canada. And it's going to be things like kills from Surefour and XQC that are going to secure it. Another EMP from Surefour, and that should do it. Canada holds Brazil on point B. Put themselves in a great position to 4-0 this series.
Yeah, Brazil got pretty far, though, considering that initial defense from Canada nearly full held them.
Yeah.
So they can be happy with that. Still a little bit of wiggle room here. All the matches have been relatively close so far. Brazil has a chance here. Pick up a map in this series, at least set themselves not too far behind when it comes to that map score.
Yep. Absolutely true. Rawhide.
Still there, love it.
Yep, oh yeah. Canada on the attack. I wasn't sure if Note was going for a fist bump there, but no, he was pointing at something, and the logo covered that finger. He's pointing.
There's some good censorship right there.
That's good.
Hey, you didn't say which finger.
It's a pointer finger, Monty. Trying to get Note fined or something? Come on. It's pointing. No? What? Oh, I see.
I see what they're doing.
I see what they're doing. All right. No. Fine. No, not quite. There's Ole. Remember, that's had to sort of integrate himself into a team largely composed of Brazil Gaming House. For the starting roster for Team Brazil. I think he's done a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, and you know, they've got their strategies, they're sticking to it. Lico's going to be coming into this defense on the Sombra. Otherwise, it will be a lot of tanks and a lot of supports.
Oh, yeah. That's what we've seen a lot of. So there you go. That is all the farther that Canada has to push the payload. Look, they could even pick up a spare tire along the way.
In case they need a...
Not that the payload needs tires, but...
Yeah,
whoa, right through it.
What does need tires?
Do a barrel roll.
What does need tires? Don't all the payloads just float?
Yeah, I guess so, but you know.
Have you seen anything with wheels in Overwatch? I'm not
what
sure.
if the payload bumps into something? You need tires on the side like a tugboat has or something.
There's that motorcycle in the spawn of Junkertown.
Oh yeah, there you go. Sure. I mean, the rib tire is a tire. Junkrat has to get those from somewhere. Canada on the attack here. Brazil trying to, again, send Lico behind to just harass that back line. Alamo down early, though. Everyone is kind of in the tunnel, and that's not where you want to be, whether you're Brazil or Frodo and Sam at the end of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, this is just brutal. Just a slow roll from Canada right now. Picking off the Brazilian teammates one by one.
Yep.
They may have time to try a defense here, but they have to come through these choke points. Agility's already massively charged up. Surefour running points here.
That's a
Lico's
charge.
Lico is in the back right now, and he did just get healed off of a pack. So he's going to be coming around the back of the Canadian formation. Crimzo and Vanny may be vulnerable.
Brazil has to worry about Surefour, though. Honorado on top of him. He's done a pretty good job lately of kind of pushing away that Sombra. Meanwhile, Grab does get used due to low health, but stays alive. for the moment. Canada brawling it out on the point right now. They're going to send XQC back in there. A little bit of damage again. Now here comes a nearly full charge Agilities on that Zeri. He gets pinned though. Ooh, he's got the shield. He's going to be fine. And Crimzo with that Coalescence roasting Doodoo. Now the self-destruct catches XQC. Liko barely lived in the back, but Neil is going to be down. And slowly but surely Canada going to grind out a fight win here, it looks like.
Even Liko with a massive EMP couldn't save that one. The nano boost there from the side of Brazil used onto Neil, but he was grabbed, so they didn't get a lot of value from it. Canada coming back with an EMP of their own as they move on to point B with nearly 5 minutes to push it about 2/3 of the way through the point.
You almost couldn't possibly be in a better position than Canada is to start point B. Like you said, tons of time to finish this map, and they've got a ton of ults to do it with, too. Looking to make it a pretty quick affair here.
Surefour once again. It's 2 ships passing in the night with the Sombra.
That's right. Detected someone, oh wow. And see, that's the thing. He had the same stat in Overwatch League too. Gets so many people with the hack, and there's another big one coming in from Surefour. Sets up Note with the self-destruct on the Neil. And Brazil in trouble already. Alamo did use his sound barrier, but didn't get the value that we saw him get out of it on maps like King's Row.
I mean, Surefour's now at 34 enemies hacked on this map. On Anubis, he was at 28. This is just ridiculous right now. XQC has all the space in the world to walk up to these choke points, see if they're going to walk through and get shattered. Gonna hide back right here, wait till they drop down. He's gonna be discovered though. Yeah,
check your corners.
The corners have been checked. XQC's not gonna be able to get that one.
Don't hit the tire. I don't know, I think the tire might have gotten knocked over. Oh, it's still there. The tire is okay, guys. Right behind the payload. Meanwhile, Brazil just barely trying to hold. There's the Graviton surge, and everyone's caught in it. Oh, a big 3-man grab from Canada. Sound barrier comes in as they try to finish it, and they nearly will. 0.09 meters to go. Just gotta barely edge it forward, and they will. Canada gets a 4-0 over Brazil.
Pretty dominant on the last couple of maps after we had a close match before halftime, particularly on that King's Row, but in the end, Canada pulls it together for the sweep.
Yep, that's right. But man, Brazil really kept it close. That was a great match for them to start this thing off with. I think everybody knows now you gotta take Brazil seriously, because, you know, that was a 4-0, sure, but you could not call that a one-sided performance.
No, and I think you have to take Sombra seriously. So much of this group stage is going to be defined by the Sombra plays of these teams. We saw Surefour there, talked about it a lot during the match, Doa, but as you said, LA Gladiators, they played a lot of Sombra, and in a way, you know, this is really good for Team Canada for this meta. They've got Agilities who would pull out as a pocket pick that Doomfist. We know he's a great Doomfist player, and Surefour and Hydration sort of swapping off on the Sombra duties, but now the Sombra's here, Surefour's able to play it in this meta. It really does look like a lot of these Canadian players are in sort of a home meta for them, one that they're already individually experienced at playing.
Sure enough. Well, to give us some words on that last match, we have down on the floor the one, the only XQC. Let's see what he's got to say.
Thank you so much, Doa and Monty. Great job on the cast. But first, give some love to XQC, ladies and gentlemen. Excellent main tank play shown throughout this match. And I want to start there because we saw a very strong showing from Brazil. The first half super tight. What was it like playing against their main tank, Neil?
Very, very fast-paced, extremely aggressive. They would hide behind corners and speed up, jump charge with the stun. It was really hard to play against, and we had to adapt to it. I even tweeted about it. It's pretty stressful because I had to adapt, and I wasn't ready for that. But we knew they were aggressive, and we adapted fast enough. And not having a brigand on my team, it was a little hard, but we pulled through.
Well, last time we saw you here in this arena, it was back when you were wearing a Dallas Fuel jersey. You've been out of the Overwatch League for a little bit, but you've constantly been playing. We've all been watching your stream. And you stepped away from the stream to come back for the World Cup. What is it about the Overwatch World Cup that wanted you to put back on a Canadian jersey?
World Cup is like a really, really fun event. You get to travel, meet a lot of players, hang out, you know, backstage. You know, Overwatch League is pretty serious. You know, you don't really hang out that much. But now we hang out, we just chill, and it's a lot of fun. Also, BlizzCon is also something to look forward to. It's such a big event and so many people to meet, and the crowd's so big. It's you know, it's loud, it's noisy. I love it. I love the energy. I mean, when people show up and people in the chat, it's a lot of hype. So
I love it. Well, you are the MVP of 2017. If you're not the MVP of 2018, who from Team Canada could steal that title from you?
Agilities on Lucio.
Agility's on Lucio. I like that pick. This is XQC, guys. Fantastic stuff from Canada. They are now 8-0, 2-match victories to kick off this World Cup stop. Let's send it back to the casters with Monty and Dylan.
All right, thank you, Puckett. And yeah, great match to start things off with for Brazil, but Canada coming out with a big 4-0.
Yeah, you could see that adaptation, too, that XQC was talking about. I mean, Brazil is really aggressive. You rarely see professional teams coordinate around those Reinhardt charges, and, you know, that can be tough to deal with as XQC. If you don't have that Brigitte on your roster to stun the Reinhardt out of the charge, well, it creates a lot of problems. But they did a good job of playing back, waiting for the charge, catching the charge, and then counterpunching instead. So nicely done by Team Canada.
Yeah, indeed. For me, on the Brazil side of things, the thing that stands out more than anything is going to be Ole. I mean, I think he had a lot of great play, and again, being the only guy in that starting roster that wasn't part of an existing team already in Brazil, I think he did a great job of integrating, and that seemed like, anyway, from our side, communicating really well with his teammates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys have been talking it up in the Twitter sphere. Let's check out the T-Mobile Fan Pulse, brought to you by the fastest network ever. Professor Peartree has something to say about Crimzone Alamo.
I think Alemão especially was super impressive in terms of his awareness on those sound barriers, playing around the EMPs. And Crimzo, you know, for not being a player who has played in the Overwatch League, unlike all of his teammates, like I think he did pretty well.
Well, in a meta where Lucio is kind of coming up big, I think a player like Alemão, who's able to specifically avoid the Sombra like we saw him do, is going to be very valuable to have on your team looking forward, depending on what meta we end up in the Overwatch League Season 2. But yeah, certainly a player that I would look at for sure. Let's check out another tweet. It's like Roxas has to say, I'm glad to see 2 different comps being played. And I mean, that's the thing. We're going to see a lot of Sombra. We're going to see Doomfist and things like that. Happy to see the Sombra. Well, I mean, if you keep watching, I think you'll be able to kind of pick up some stuff about how to play that one.
I think so too, and especially with Sure for that game, you don't need to go for the kills, especially at the professional level. It's all about that disruption, and it's about scouting. I mean, the way that you play Sombra right now, you run with the unlimited invisibility. Yeah. It's very advantageous on attack because you can scout their composition effectively and then swap out like we saw Team Canada doing on King's Row.
Yep, that's right. And we got some highlights, too, to check out from that match. Man, there are a lot of awesome plays to see throughout all of it. Agility's on the Doomfist. I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this over the next year or so. Hopefully, anyway.
I mean, it's just such a fun hero to watch fundamentally. But this is, again, Canada. They're playing smart. And this is the meteor strike that I think really helped win that fight. They are able to clear out Liko on the Zarya. Here you go. Do see Graviton coming on through, and that's going to trigger a charge from XQC already behind them.
I love how XQC is always ready to like hit the button that turns his mouse to like infinite DPI and just like spin like crazy.
Maybe he just moves his arm really fast, though.
That could be true too. Actually, I would not be surprised if he can just actually move his arm that fast. And this was a good engage by Brazil. I think it was pretty tight. And set up a nice fight for them.
Yeah, take a look at Temple of Anubis as well. This is where things started to go very well from Canada, and you could see that the precision of having played this map at an Overwatch League level really did pay off. That's Ole. That's just such a beautiful sleep dart.
Oh, that's hard on the back there. He landed in sand though, so he's okay. It's a little bit soft.
Probably all right.
Oh, but then this, yeah.
Oh, then he just gets exploded.
Then the exploding tire comes. You're like, oh well, I'm in the air again. Yeah, wow, sleep dart on the Ana from Bonnie. I mean, Temple of Anubis really was like a battle of the sleep darts between these two Anas. It was great to see.
Yeah, really fun.
Yeah, that's right. Somewhere Jaehong is just clapping and he can't stop it. It's great. Oh, yeah, it's a pulse bomb. But don't worry, it's on your shield, so you're okay.
Definitely okay. And now XQC here coming in with a shatter onto Dudu, trying to finish this one off. But that was the nice charge there. The kills. The help of the self-destruct thrown over the top. That unfortunate tire bounced around, and here's the ending for Team Canada. Had all the necessary damage to get in and finish off that Graviton and finish off Route 66.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at what time Canada had left on the clock at that point too, I mean, it was just only a matter of it, whether they would be able to finish the map or not. They put themselves in just a great position again. Yep, that's right. So next, we have Austria versus USA. So it's time to get ready for America to take the field at the Overwatch World Cup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup, and by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan. every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone